okay, I had a script, but then it's not really a script. It was basically a layout as to what I'd be talking about, but for some reason my microphone fucked up, so it was unable to be recorded. So now this is just a straight raw rant, ramble, whatever. I guess with a few edits here and there. This ramble rant thing is inspired by the fact that the phrase "get a real job" is starting to really fucking annoy me. And I understand that a lot of people who tend to say, hey, get a real job, are like from the 50-plus-year-olds who still don't know how an iPhone truly works. Like, they were unaware of the settings app on their phone or whatever. Like, just older people who don't really understand a lot of things or whatever. Or it focuses on children who say that because they hear adults say it and then they think that, oh, because an adult said it, it's the right thing or whatever the fuck. I'm just so annoyed of that saying. And I gotta say, like, I've heard so many people say that. I've heard my family say it. I've heard strangers say it. I've seen people on TV say it because that's their personal opinion. And I respect everyone's personal opinion, but honestly, fuck you. Like, it's hard for me to believe that there are actual people that I would either know, be related to, or, you know, just actually exist, that believe that if you aren't working a super hard job, or you don't have a government job or something like that, and you're not making a living wage, you don't have a real job. In fact, you really don't have a real job if, in this case, it's like you try to make, I guess, YouTube one of your main careers. I've had one aunt in particular kind of criticize the fact that, you know, there are kids out in the world who just sit in front of their computer and talk or say whatever, and they make money off of it, and they say that that's not a real job. But in the same breath, maybe a week later we'll be like, well, why aren't you doing that? You know? So I kind of think it's weird how people kind of have that mindset. I also think it's weird that people would I wouldn't say they have animosity, but they have such a disdain for people who want to basically make a job or make a profit out of doing something that they love, rather than want to, you know, work, I guess I'd say a traditional job, for the rest of their life. And I think it's fucking odd that to have people want to do something that they like is considered something negative. Like, I understand that you're 50 and you kind of wasted away your life, or you grew up in an age where it was taught to you that you had to work some sort of job for the rest of your life until you die and whatever, and that's all you're good for or whatever. But it's like, for people who have dreams and aspirations and they have stuff that they want to do, I don't think it's right to criticize basically, I guess, their dream. Again, I apologize. I'm not really good at speaking when it's free thought. I actually suck at speaking unless I'm reading off of something. So again, I apologize. Anyway, what inspired this is I was at work one day and I had a customer ask me, because for some reason, I guess it's just apparent on my face that I don't really like my job, but I had a customer ask me how I liked working at my job. And I told him honestly, like, hey, it has its ups and downs. It's a job. You know, nobody really likes to work at a job. They'd like to, you know, work at a dream job. But again, it has its ups and downs. The ups are obviously, you know, you get money for it, but it's not as much. And I get to work with really cool people. The downs are the fact that I have to, for maybe 6 to 8 hours, have to listen to people, I guess on bad days, back to back complain about shitty customer service or whatever, or have an attitude or whatever the fuck. And I have to coddle to their piss baby behavior because, you know, the one thing they were looking for in the store, they couldn't find and nobody would help them and whatever the fuck. And now it's up to me as a customer service associate to make them feel better or at least try. And then at the end of the day, you know, they're still pissed off and they vow that they're never going to come back and whatever. It's annoying. Either way, I told him that and he was just like, well, what is it that, you know, what do you want to do? What would be your dream job? And I told him, like, for those of you who don't know, my dream job, if anything, is to work with art. I'm an artist. I like to draw. I would like to put out some web comics or comic books one day in the future just for the sake of doing it. And perhaps even keep doing it, you know, and see how that turns out. I'd like to actually provide illustrations for people's content themselves or whatever, if it ever branches out that way. I'd like to put my drawings on t-shirts because I feel that they're pretty neat, I guess. But I'd also like for my illustrations to make it into games or anything of that variety, anything dealing with art, or if anything, I'd like to learn more about computers. I'd like to learn more about web design and stuff like that. Such things interest me. And so I was telling this guy this, and I was telling him how if I were to attempt to achieve these dreams, or if I were to attempt to even, I guess, try to make a profit off of these hobbies or these interests that I like, I would have to work from home and I'd have to put in countless hours. I'd have to put in a lot of effort and I might have to do some sleepless nights in order for me to, like, basically get the ball rolling. And basically what this guy said to me was, oh, but that's not a real job. You know, hobbies are hobbies. You have fun with them in your spare time, but, you know, your hobbies aren't going to pay your bills and your hobbies aren't going to, you know, make you any kind of decent money. You know, retail's a shitty job, but, you know, it's still going to help you pay your bills more than, you know, your drawings. And honestly, I wanted to, like, immediately be like, no, shut up, fuck you, shut the fuck up. But I kept to myself and I let him, you know, think that that was right until he was done rambling. And then after that, I kind of laughed and I told him, you're probably one of the many people who told Steve Jobs that before he ended up being a fucking billionaire, you know? Or I don't think I said it word for word like that. I think I said you're like the people who, I guess, told Steve Jobs that or whatever. And by no means am I saying that with my hobbies or interests, I'm going to be Steve Jobs. I'm just saying, if people have a hobby that they like, whether it be people trying to make it big on YouTube by sharing their personality or whatever type of content that means to entertain people, or whether you're an artist or you make music or you write, I feel like any of that, that's talent. And that's a means of entertainment. I feel like in 2016, I'm not saying we're super progressive because, hey, it's 50, 60 years ago, things were still segregated. Hell, some places still are, and, you know, there's still, like, biases from way, way back that are still, like, incorporated now and then, but it's the future, and a lot of stuff has been going on, and people of all backgrounds share the same interests, you know, despite stereotypes or whatever. And I think that in this day and age, it's a lot easier for people to put themselves out there. it's super easy for, you know, kids to be discovered, you know, for being hilarious or whatever the fuck than it was a long time ago, because we have so many outlets that would uplift people with actual talent, and we have so many outlets that will showcase people's talents and stuff like that. Unlike this 50-year-old asshole, like back then, he would probably have to tap dance on every corner of America to, you know, show people that he was actually a tap dancer. Whereas now we have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have all kinds of, again, outlets to where we can show a lot of people without leaving the comforts of our home how talented we are, and we can change that into some sort of profit for ourselves, and if not others, like, we can be inspirations to others and whatever the fuck. I'm rambling, but that's the point, whatever. Point is, I just think when people say get a real job, it's kind of a slap in the face to any person who has been motivated by some sort of creativity that caused some sort of innovation for us that affects us now. Going back to Steve Jobs, I'm pretty sure his mom was telling him to get out of the garage and fucking talk to girls or whatever, not knowing that he'd be one of the greatest minds to bless this fucking earth and give us something that would allow a whole bunch of people to interact. And if not that, then just, I can't even. He did a lot. And it's all because he was working on a hobby. All because he was doing what he loved. I would say the same for Mark Zuckerberg. He was fucking around with stuff that he did in his spare time, and he created something huge that made him a fucking billionaire. You know, lately, it's like we live in an age where this shit is easy to do. You just have to focus and refine your talents and, you know, just do it, basically. And it fucking blows my mind when old people especially say, well, it blows my mind when old people say it, but then it fucking implode, like I'm basically beheaded when even young people say that, but then not really, because some young people are fucking stupid and they take everything for granted. Like, me, I'm a 90s kid, so it's like, I know the difference of what I had and what I have now. And, like, it's crazy how, you know, growing up, I'm stuck with, like, well, I'm not stuck, I was blessed to get a fucking Game Boy. And then, 10 years later, you got people who actually like creating consoles or handhelds and whatever, and now you got fucking PSPs and stuff like that with graphics. Like, if you look at fucking Pokemon Yellow and then you compare it to Dissidia, that shit's groundbreaking. And it's because people who have, like, made a job of their hobbies, or they went to school to learn this shit, whatever the fuck, they put in the work and then they made something great. But again, it kills me when old people will talk shit and basically talk about how, you know, your hobbies will never be a real job. It'll never give you any sort of profit or whatever, when that shit happens almost every day. You have people on YouTube who, play games, and because they're so entertaining, you know, they got a lot of kids throwing money at them, even though it's not physically. Their views are money on this site. And even so, you got some YouTubers who are pretty shitty at playing video games, or they're just pretty shitty themselves, but because they don't look too bad, you know, you got a lot of people just looking at them, and then that still generates views, and thus it generates money for them. Again, it's, for me, like, I guess for people like that, it doesn't really apply, because if you're attractive, then you're born with that. And in America, all over the place, if you're born attractive, all good things come to you. But you know, I'm saying for people like me, where, you know, you have a hobby, you have something that you like, you do it in your spare time, and you want to, you know, do stuff with it. You don't want to keep it to yourself all the time. The fact that, you know, I've seen other people who have been in the same positions as me, and they've done something with their crafts to where they're making money off of it. It's easy. The only thing that's really holding me back is myself. But again, it's baffling, because people with hobbies have always historically moved things forward, and they've profited off of their hobbies, whether it be like by monetizing it or just by being a part of history. Fuck, Van Gogh, Michelangelo, they like drawing, so much so that one of them was pretty much insane or whatever. But you know, they had artworks that fucking, I wouldn't say transcended, but it threw a bunch of people in awe. And now, to this day, they made those drawings like hundreds of years ago, and we're still looking at them. We're still using them as muses of inspiration. It's like, and again, I'm not trying to put myself on the same platform. I'm just saying stuff like that happens, whether you want it to or not. I'm pretty sure when they were drawing that shit, they didn't think that they'd go down in history for it. They didn't really think of the monetary gain that they'd get by it, but they were doing what they loved, or they did stuff as a hobby, and it became a cultural phenomenon or whatever the fuck. It became huge. And it's like I just find stuff like that to be pretty fucking annoying. Again, I just, it's not like the guy discouraged me, but I just find it baffling how we live in a society where that shit is very apparent, where people who make hobbies of something can turn it into a profit, and then you still have like some old bastards trying to basically make your want or need to have a dream job or actually enjoy working on something that includes your hobbies as something that's bad. Because if you're not sweating over it, if you're not fucking, you know, splitting your fingers open, if you're not breaking your fucking back, it's not a real job. And you know what? I would say that my working in retail is part of the reason that drives me to want to make my dream job or whatever a reality, because it's just, for me, it's crazy how in our society we basically have normalized being miserable and working shitty jobs to like be the norm. That's something that we have to do, like, in order to survive. I feel like there is a better way, and some people have made better ways for themselves, but they've still worked hard to do it. So it's kind of crazy when you got kids or adults telling people to get real jobs or whatever. Like, even relating to this whole YouTube thing, where Google Tube is like trying to basically crack down yet again on large, I'll say they're focusing on targeting large YouTube channels or Google Tube, whatever, so that it's harder for them to monetize their videos. And really quick about that, I think that's actually pretty laughable, because obviously they've pooled all their money and put it into something that they knew would fail, or that everybody was saying would fail. And then, i.e. YouTube Red, fucking Google Plus, whatever the fuck. And now that it has failed and they've wasted a whole bunch of money, now they're trying to, I guess, gain some of that money back by cracking down on the larger channels that make their money for them, that made them buy out the site in the first place. But yeah, I think to say that these larger YouTube channels, I mean, whether they're attractive, whether they actually have talent, whether they're actually entertaining, whether they put together like good content that you actually enjoy, that shit takes work. It takes effort. It takes knowledge. It takes some sort of education or whatever. Well, for some of them, not all. Let me throw that out there. But it's just so funny because there's so many people who are willing to criticize and say that it's not a real job to entertain millions on YouTube. Bitch, you can be entertaining one day and then boring the next, and nobody will give a fuck. Like, you will lose all that attention, and it would be a thing of the past. It's hard to stay entertaining. It's hard to keep the attention of others without feeling that you need to constantly put yourself out there. Because you could one day do something great, and then the next day, because you didn't feel well, your performance wasn't that great, and now everybody feels some sort of way, and now they don't find you interesting anymore. I feel bad for bigger YouTube channels that have that kind of pressure, because it's like they got a lot to juggle. They have to schedule a lot of something that used to be a hobby and now they've monetized it or whatever. They gotta juggle all of that just to appease their large audience, and a lot of their audience are just young kids or just stupid young adults who demand content, or think that this shit is super easy. Like, oh, it's easy to be funny all the time. It's easy to edit all your videos in a flash and fucking upload 50 of them a day. It's easy because people have done it, so it's obviously easy. It's like, it's not easy. At least I could assume so. It's kind of annoying and tough for me, and I'm not even doing that much. But is it as hard as backbreaking work out in the sun? Hell no. But, each job has its own means of difficulty, and whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. Again, I'm rambling, but going back to the topic at hand, when it comes to just all I'm gonna say is, all in all, fuck that guy, fuck my aunt, fuck anyone who thinks that not doing something that at the end of the day can make you money isn't a real job is hilarious. Like, you're fucking funny. Fuck. You got a lot of people who are quick to criticize what real work is, and yet half of those people, they'll even say that they fucking hate real work. They'll say, but and they'll also in the same breath probably say that they don't have any hobbies or talents or whatever. Going back to, I'll say, my friend's aunt, for example. She used to be a huge blues singer way back in the day, and what was it? I heard she had her own band. She was huge. Everyone in like her small town knew her and whatever, and she would have been bigger had she continued on with it, but instead she got a job and she just continued to focus on her job and whatever that job entailed and wherever it took her, whatever the fuck. Either way, she wasn't doing it anymore, and I think just recently that was just one of her regrets, just not pursuing what she actually liked doing and seeing where it could take her. And I feel like in this day and age, it's never too late for anyone to just see out your hobbies, see how far it gets you, see what it gets you, and if it doesn't work out, then you just move on. It's whatever. I understand for her it was a different time, so getting a job was probably more important. But you know, God, she even said, like, even though, like, she wanted to see where singing would take her, and even if it took her places, she would want to produce artists or, you know, be a producer, have some sort of label or whatever type of company that, you know, spotlights artists and stuff like that. And it just sucks that she was never able to do that, or that she chose not to do that. I feel like in this day and age, people can do whatever they want. If they want to try and monetize their hobby, then fucking let them. It's cool if your opinion is, like, different. It's cool if you actually genuinely believe that, you know, just in case I didn't say that right, I feel like I didn't, that hard work is the only work that you can only ever profit off of, or that's the only way to go. But, you know, it's been proven time and time again that people's hobbies or their different interests showed positive results. And it's everywhere. You know, people, I feel like when people try to discourage others for trying to profit off of their hobby, it's because probably their hobby doesn't interest them, or they're not the particular market that that person's hobbies are trying to reach out to. And so they're just like, well, fuck you, basically. Because like I said, I have drawings. I draw anime bullshit or whatever. And because this old fuck probably didn't even know what anime was, he was just like, well, that's not gonna get you anywhere, because I don't know what because I don't know what that shit is. People like me aren't gonna be interested, and we're not gonna pay for it, and that's not gonna get you any money. Well, fuck you, because you're not the people I'm trying to sell my shit to. Granted, it would be funny, but I feel like I've rambled way too long. Again, no. I guess to make a long ramble short, or story short, follow your dreams. If you feel your hobbies can make you money, fucking try. See where it takes you. It doesn't hurt to try. Because at the end of the day, if it does end up making you money, well, there you fucking go. That's just proof right there that, you know, you can make something out of something that you're dealing with. So there's that. Haters are gonna stay haters. They're always gonna be sideline bitches. No one's ever gonna pay attention to them. They're always gonna be there. But again, no one ever pays attention to haters specifically. They just know them as a group of fucking evil bitches that just want to tear you down or whatever the fuck. I am no starving artist. I am gonna play my cards right and smart. I've never been the type to think that I should quit my job and then just do this shit full time. Nah, I'm all for stability. So I'm still gonna be working my shitty jobs just so I can have more stuff to ramble about, I guess. But also, yeah, I still need that money to support my ideas and my hobbies and whatever. Fuck. Even though that shit makes me like, what, $200 at most? Like, what the fuck? Like, sometimes I actually, like, I wish I was, like, curvaceous enough. Like, if I had my fucking Amazon glow on, like where I look so dope that I could, like, either be a stripper or, like, work as a bartender in a strip club, right? Because then it's just, like, you got a lot of simple-minded people there, right? They're just willing to throw all their money that they worked hard for at you. And it's just, like, historically, or just in every day, like, you've seen a naked woman, you've seen a naked man, like, but you're still willing to go to clubs and spend all your hard-earned money on people who are either half naked or they're dressed up as dead or alive bitches or whatever, and you still, like, you worked hard, but you gonna throw your money at them. Like, goddamn. All because you wanted to see a fucking 8-pack or some titties, like. But no, fuck me. I look like that one dude from fucking Boku no whatever Academia or whatever. I look like that dude. Fucking damn. Fucking evil baby Hiei faced. Like, that's me. Like, fuck. You got people in strip clubs, male or female, and I know a lot of you like immediately start thinking of females. No, males too. But it's like, you got those people making $2,000 a week? A week? For fucking dabbing on a stripper pole or whatever, spinning around and shit? Or they're at the bar and they're just attractive enough or whatever, making $2,000 in tips. What? Like, goddamn, like, I'm not even that blessed. Like, shout outs to all strippers, like, cause they know how to manipulate people. They know that people are petty as fuck. They know people really like looking at other people. They know people know what titties, chests, dicks, and all that shit look like. They know people know what that looks like, but they still willing to pay just to see it in person. It's just like, damn. Shout outs. And they're making $2,000 a week. Like 3 or 4 weeks in a month. Making $6,000 to $8,000 a month. A year. Like, goddamn. And I guess that depends on if you're a good stripper or not, because I know there's some ugly strippers out there too, and they still, I mean, they're trying to achieve the dream, but it don't work like that. How did I go from talking about fucking get a real job to stripping? What the fuck? This is why I don't ramble, because I'll talk about a whole bunch of shit. Anyway, long story short, I'ma do me. I'm gonna try and see where my shit goes, because I got a bucket list and I plan on knocking off a few things from that bucket list. I plan on doing a lot of stuff before I die. So yeah, and I plan to see where it goes because I'm curious. I just want to see. Shout outs to my haters, cause they my motivators. No. That's it though. I almost forgot what I was gonna fucking say. Fuck. Whatever. Bye.